days after the Rajasthan government came under sharp criticism for its ordinance that requires sanction from the government to prosecute public servants, it has now decided to rethink the ordinance. We have with us former Union Minister and BJP leader Arun Shourie to discuss what is really problematic with this Rajasthan ordinance.
The first is that you must see this as part of a pattern. I'm sure that these are trial runs for eventually for central legislation to protect the corrupt and to protect any facts about themselves coming out. Yeah. The first trial run was by the Maharashtra ordinance and the bill, and now Rajasthan. And in each run, they do 2-3 things. One is they make the restrictions even, the protections even greater. For instance, in the Maharashtra Act, it was that the sanction shall be given in 3 months. Here it has been extended to 6 months. Yeah. And not 6 months, ordinarily 6 months. That in each successive round, a new dimension is added. In this case, what has been added, in the Maharashtra case, there was no restriction on reporting about the facts which have come out. Here, you gagged the press also. Yeah. And this is not just a move against the press, because the press is actually just the eyes and ears of the people. So it is a way to prevent facts from going to the people. That's what this ordinance and therefore the bill is all about. And I think second assault is on the judiciary itself. Yeah. First point was that the magistrate has the power to order an investigation. He said, I have received this information, let us say an FIR has been registered, okay? Now please investigate. He can't now do it. It depends on the government. Yeah. And secondly, it is a great assault on the powers of the judiciary. In this sense, firstly you curtail the magistrate's powers. Second is that in the case of judges, it's not just magistrates who are mentioned. Yeah. In the case of judges, which can include High Court judges, I presume a Supreme Court judge also, there is a well-known, well-laid out procedure since Veeraswamy's case that the Chief Justice of India will set up an internal inquiry and the President of India will go by that, Governor will go by that. Here, you say no, it is the executive which will decide. So you are taking away the power of the Chief Justice, etc. And you are making the judge and the magistrate dependent on the government of the day. There are 2 points. One is that honest civil servants must be protected. But under the cover of protecting honest civil servants, actually you end up protecting the dishonest civil servants. The way to protect the honest civil servant is for the minister to assume responsibility. No, I was responsible. I don't want to boast or anything, but you ask the civil servants who worked with me in disinvestment and in telecom. And the previous government, UPA government, ordered 3 inquiries. And each time I said, I will go to the CBI. I don't need the CBI to come to me. Yeah. I went there and I told the deputy director of the CBI was there, the SP was there, the investigating officer. I said, I don't know the details very well. I don't remember them that well because I have other interests. But therefore, I'll have the secretary of the department, who was the secretary at that time, with me. But please remember, anything that was decided at that time when I was the minister, I am responsible, not the secretary. And the secretary felt completely comfortable with that. That is the way to protect. It is today the ministers don't want to assume responsibility, they want to escape. Oh, I did not know, oh, I was busy, it is the secretary's signature which is there. That is the real problem. This is not the way to protect them. And in fact, I feel that these magistrates and judges have also been put in there as a cover, not even for protecting civil servants. The real protection is first civil servants who collaborate with ministers and do the paperwork to cover up their misdeeds. But even more important, these so-called public servants, which includes MPs, for instance, or MLAs, and political ministers. That is the real thing. And this whole idea that you can't even mention anything about their family,
So that's the more problematic part of the ordinance. We come to the media gag on reporting.
So the way that we must act is firstly point to the what has the BJP been doing itself. Let us take Augusta Westland. Somebody's name comes up in a court in Italy. No investigation has taken place here.
Yeah.
And what does the BJP do? It runs with it. So now you don't want to run with it, is it? You want others to be pure, but you can go on doing what you like because you are the government. Second thing I think that we must see is that do not think that this is going to be limited to corruption. I feel that this is because they are saying any proceeding. Let us assume that Sohrabuddin has been killed in a false encounter. You and I and Shekhar, we write that this was a false encounter. Assume for a minute. And X, Y and Z were responsible and so was the Home Minister. You can't do that now. So in the case of this, there's a false encounter that takes place. Police officers are involved. The Home Minister is ultimately responsible. You can't report that. You can't report their names. Till who? Till the government of which the Home Minister is a part decides to give or not give a sanction, and you, for 6 months, you are gagged. Or there is a custodial death. They want somebody to implicate X. They can catch a suspect. Now they say, look here, we are not worried about you. You implicate that fellow, my political opponent. And the policeman thrashes him in custody, and the man dies. It is any proceeding. So you can't report any proceeding for 6 months, and in 6 months, who will remember a custodial death? So I feel that in these matters, 2-3 things should be done. First, please see the potential for evil inherent in such legislation. Don't go only by what is there at the moment. Second is, see this as part of a pattern. Is the government not proceeding in a particular way, and are these not trial runs for something much larger?
When we talk about it being a trial run for something larger, do you think this is coming for the BJP at a time when there's so much pressure on scandals that have to do with your party itself? Of
course, they say I'm not their member, so they're not the BJP. But most certainly, and you must remember that facts about government start surfacing in the 3rd and 4th year of their tenure, always. That's what they are fearing. For instance, the CAG has had a report on the Gujarat Petroleum Corporation, Exploration Corporation, okay? 23,000 crores spent and not a teaspoon of oil. The Wire people have said something about this J. Shah, and J. Shah has been given a loan by a ministry, by a PSU or a department under the ministry. Now, that fellow, the minister and the executives of that organization are public servants. So you can't write. And you certainly can't mention the fact of Mr. Amit Shah because he's a great public servant, being a member of parliament. I had suggested and everybody adopted 2 small things, Gandhian things. First is, any time a minister of that government holds a press conference, the first question must be, are you or are you not in favor of this ordinance or bill? If he says yes, or if he gives an ambiguous answer, I'm only worried about this project, I'm not talking about anything else, just walk out and leave. Just boycott the press conference. Second, completely Gandhian thing to do, does not violate the ordinance. Yeah. And second is, just stop publishing the names and photographs of every member of that government. Just completely Gandhian act. वो रात को सो नहीं पाएंगे, and they, to get their photographs published, they will have to pay you with their advertisements of the government. So don't publish their photographs or their names. If something very important has been announced, just give the announcement. The government has announced today in the assembly XYZ, not who the minister. It was said on behalf of the government that, not that the Home Minister said X, Y and Z, or Home Minister so and so said X, Y, Z. You do these two things and these fellows will be, you know, what as Vasundhara has said, rethinking their bill.
So you've obviously been a part of the critical voice about the anti-defamation bill that came about during Rajiv Gandhi's government.
We fought it.
Do you see
it was to silence us in the Indian Express. Yes.
Do you see parallels in the same way with this bill? And
of course, because the government in Rajasthan, many facts about it are now coming out. I'll give you an example. Yeah, the Rajasthan Patrika pursued a case of, you know, now the legislature meets in a new building. Formerly, it was in one of the old palaces of the old royal family of Rajasthan. So, when they moved to the new premises, the question was, what will be done to the old premises? And the Rajasthan Patrika found out documents that suggested that a deal had been made to transfer this palace to some particular person, or in the control of some particular person. They published it. Now you can't publish it. So such things will keep coming out about these governments. And it is to foreclose that possibility, so that then you can say, I've always had zero tolerance. किसी को जो था ना कि किसी को खाने नहीं दूंगा, ना मैं खाता हूँ ना किसी को खाने देता हूँ, अब वो बन रहा है कि ना मैं बोलता हूँ, मैं बोलता बहुत हूँ मगर औरों को बोलने नहीं देता है. So that is that. We must go to the courts, but don't rely only on the courts. Auction, you know, coal auctions and spectrum auctions and so on. But we should not rely only on the courts. We are here on behalf of citizens, and the citizens' right to know is being assaulted, and therefore we must do these Gandhian things also.
Because the government's argument really also comes from one of the Supreme Court rulings in the 2G case, where they actually passed a ruling saying you have to give these sanctions within 3 months. So the government has been taking that as a legitimacy to come up with laws like these.
No. But you see, that was to force the government to do it. Here the government is taking something called ordinarily 6 months, and during that period nothing can be done. Even an investigation could not be done. Did the Supreme Court say, no, you can't investigate this fact? The
prosecution part of it.
Oh, yes, it's only prosecution. Now even investigation cannot be done, and even printing it or showing it on television cannot be done. Did the Supreme Court say this? Just because it said 3 months?
Yeah.
How does that come into the picture?
How do you weigh the BJP's anti-corruption stand for the party that came into power right after the whole Anna movement and talked about Lokpal? In the last 3 years, what has changed and what hasn't?
Well, I'll give you an example. Lokpal is not enacted.
Yeah.
Secondly, the Prime Minister himself said that from the ramparts of the Red Fort, a sacred occasion, the independence of India. Yeah. On Independence Day, he said, within 1 year, I will bring a bill that will ensure that any case against an MP or a minister is decided within 1 year. Yeah. Okay, so where is that promise? Ek aur jumla likha.
You need 6 months for sanction.
Sanction for investigation, not for the case to be finished. Yeah. At that time, his pledge to India was, the case will be finished within 1 year. Now even investigation need not be started for 6 months. So ये सारे जुमले हैं.
A year or two.
No, that was separate thing. Of course, those matters are in courts. So whether the courts take long or not, and what the BJP does to strengthen a case or dilute a case according to their political convenience,
and some of them, like the Vadra issue, which is not in court as of now.
Yes, so that's a good point. That's not in court. So how do you keep talking about it? Under this act, you should not be able to talk about it.
He's not a public servant.
No, but he is not a public servant, but let us say the civil servants who gave him the permission for the land, etc. Or that man, Buddha is one of the accused, he was the chief minister. They are certainly very distinguished public servants, isn't it? So you can see how it can be enlarged to just stop the mouth of the press from talking about anything. And There's another matter. The Supreme Court has used a very important phrase of describing such legislation. They said it has a chilling effect. Many people will not be brave.
Yeah.
They will say, "Yaar, why get into this problem? Chodo, mat karo, pursue mat karo." Because it may be permissible under the law, but you don't want to take the trouble of facing the consequences, even if it is for 2-3 years trial. So it has a chilling effect on them, and that's the purpose. That's the purpose of intimidation, that's the purpose of getting to your advertisers. As in the case of a TV channel, I know, don't advertise with these fellows. Second, that is the way in which advertisements were stopped for Rajasthan Patrika. This is direct intimidation.
Or in other words, 2 years of jail sentence.
2 years of jail sentence, absolutely. Even the threat of 2 years of jail sentence, how many ordinary journalists looking after, let's say, infant children in their homes will say, "Acha, koi baat nahi, I will publish this story and go to jail for 2 years." That's their intention. And the occasional murder here and there done even by others fits into the pattern and has that same effect.
Thank you so much, sir. That was Arun Shourie telling us that the Rajasthan ordinance is only going to have a chilling effect on free speech, and also telling us about Gandhian methods on how to counter the ordinance.